Hello and welcome to the calculation of the storage. Let's start with year 1. That is pretty simple, I suppose. We can say that we have any runoff from an area, so whatever drains runs off, minus the storage, minus the demand that we can replace, will be what remains in storage, right? And that is assuming we have an infinite storage. We can store as much as we like to. In year 2, however, that becomes a bit more complicated. We can type if, brackets, open, if, and we now need to assume we have already something in storage, so that we can use on day 2. In this case we don't, but if we had 100 liters here, we could use them in day 2. So we can say if what we have on day 2 is smaller or equal to 0, so we don't have anything in storage, because the minus is not possible, of course, we can say that in our storage will be the same as what we had before, namely 216 liters in this case, minus the storage we have here. Okay, but if this is not true, meaning we have more than 0 liters in storage, we would need to calculate this, our runoff, plus what we have in storage, minus the demand. Close the brackets. We now need to be careful. Do we need to fix any value? I don't think so. And we have 116 liters water in storage. Basically, only calculation that is done is this 216 minus 100. We can now copy this. So what we see, for instance, here is that we had 60. That we had 60 liters in storage, no rainfall, but still a demand of 100 liters. So we could replace 60 liters of demand, but we had to supply this rest of the 40 liters from somewhere else, minus 40. So in fact we have a negative storage. And here we see that it seems to work as well. We have 225 liters of runoff, 100 liters storage, 100 liters demand, nothing in storage, and 125 liters still in storage on that day, at the end of the day. Note also that we assume here that water is always taken out of storage after the rain event. So that's a simplification. Of course, it could rain and at the same time a demand could occur. Water in storage 0 corrected. Well, because of course we don't have the option to have a minus 100 liters in our storage. We should show the reality of things. So we should say if smaller or equal to 0, then write 0. Otherwise, write this value. Press enter. And it seems to work, luckily. But we also want to know what is the demand we have actually replaced. So what we can say is that if the runoff from this area is larger than the demand that we want to replace, then we can say we can always replace this demand, 100 liters. If this is not the case, then we can say simply write this value, in this case 0. For the second and all following options, we need to add a little bit to it. We need to say what's in storage. No, sorry, storage 0 corrected, plus the runoff. If this exceeds or is equal to what we have, what we want to replace, then we can say we can replace everything. If this is not the case, then it is simply the sum between this one and that one. So between the sum what's in storage and what we add to storage, or what is falling actually, but lower than the actual amount we want to replace. Press enter and we can copy this. So in this way we have made a dynamic model of how much demand we actually replace. And we see it seems to work. Okay, in the next session we will look at how we can implement the same for limited storage.